A man discovers his wife's secret. She's cheating with women. Is it still betrayal if it's not another man? Answer in the comments. It began with her late nights, bold outfits, and a chill at home. But when the truth unraveled, he didn't just walk away. He plotted a cunning, legal revenge. Can he reclaim justice and find happiness after her deception? Dive into this roller coaster of twists and turns. Jake Reed, a 42-year-old engineer from Portland, Oregon, had always felt like he'd cracked the code to a good life. A charming craftsman house in the Laurel Hills neighborhood, two teenage daughters, Olivia, 17, and Hannah, 15, and a wife, Kate, a 40-year-old marketing, was he'd met 2 decades ago at the University of Oregon. They'd weathered college finals, rainy weekends, and the chaos of raising kids together. Family dinners were loud, messy, and full of laughter, the kind of thing Jake lived for. But lately, the rhythm of their life had shifted, and he couldn't quite place why. Kate had changed. It started small. She'd come home late, her dark hair swept up in a way it hadn't been in years, muttering about late pitches or client dinners. Her wardrobe morphed too. Gone were the cozy cardigans Jake loved, replaced by bold dresses and leather jackets that screamed confidence. At home, she was a ghost, her eyes glued to her phone, her replies to him clipped and cool. "Work's crazy," she'd say, brushing off his questions. Jake chalked it up to stress. Her agency was pitching a big campaign, after all, but the unease gnawed at him, a quiet hum he couldn't shake. It was a soggy Thursday evening in March 2025 when the hum turned into a roar. Jake had wrapped up a long day at his tech firm in Beaverton, tweaking logistics for a new project. He decided to swing by downtown Portland for coffee, a rare treat after weeks of overtime. The rain streaked the windows of Bean and Brew, a hip little spot near the Willamette River, as he parked his truck. Glancing inside, he froze. There was Kate, tucked in a corner booth, her hand resting on a woman's across the table. The woman, tall, blonde, with a sharp bob and a warm smile, leaned in, her fingers brushing Kate's cheek. Kate laughed, a sound Jake hadn't heard in months. Her face lit up in a way that used to be reserved for him. His breath caught, the rain soaking his flannel as he stood rooted to the sidewalk. The world tilted. Was this a friend? A colleague? Or something else entirely? The woman traced a finger along Kate's wrist, and Jake's stomach lurched. He didn't barge in. Jake wasn't wired for scenes. Instead, he turned and walked back to his truck, the downpour swallowing the sound of his boots on the pavement. His mind raced, replaying every odd moment. The late nights, the new clothes, the way Kate flinched when he tried to hug her last week. By the time he got home, the house was dark. Olivia and Hannah at a friend's, Kate still out. He sank into the couch, the patter of rain against the windows his only company. Kate rolled in past 10, her coat damp, a faint whiff of jasmine trailing her, not her usual scent. "Hey," she said, casual, shedding her jacket. Client ran long. She avoided his eyes, heading for the stairs. Jake's voice stopped her. "You okay? You've been different." She paused, half turning. "Just tired, Jake. You know how it is." She disappeared upstairs, leaving him with the hum of the fridge and a growing knot in his chest. He didn't sleep that night. The image of Kate and that woman burned behind his eyes, a question he couldn't unask. What the hell was going on? Jake Reed woke to a Portland dawn cloaked in gray, the rain a relentless drumbeat against the windows of his Laurelhurst home. The image of Kate with that woman, the blonde from the cafe, looped in his mind, a jagged edge he couldn't dull. He'd spent the night on the couch, staring at the ceiling, her words, just tired, ringing hollow. By morning, the questions were a storm he couldn't outrun. He needed answers, not guesses. Kate was already up, the shower humming upstairs. Jake grabbed her phone from the kitchen counter. No password, a relic of their old trust, and opened her messages. The name Emily glowed at the top. "Last night was magic." One read, "Timestamped 11 p.m. You're my escape," Kate had replied, adding a heart. Another, a photo of them at a bar, Kate's arm slung around a tall blonde shoulders, the same woman from Bean and Brew. Jake's hand shook as he scrolled. "Miss you already," Emily wrote days ago. "Can't wait for Friday," Kate answered. His birthday was Friday. The coffee he'd brewed turned bitter in his mouth. He set the phone down as the shower cut off, his pulse a hammer in his ears. He wasn't done digging. While Kate dressed, humming like nothing was wrong, Jake logged into their shared cloud account on his laptop. Years of family photos loaded. Olivia's track meets, Hannah science fairs, but he dug deeper. In a folder labeled Work, he found it. A selfie of Kate and Emily, grinning against the backdrop of the Portland skyline, the steel bridge glinting behind them. Timestamp: 3 months ago. This wasn't a fling. It was a life he'd been blind to. A quick Google search pinned Emily Jennings as a designer at Kate's marketing firm. Her Instagram was public. Artsy shots of cocktails, sketches, and there, buried a month back, a pic of her and Kate captioned "My Spark." Public. Like Jake was nothing. That evening, he couldn't wait longer. Kate breezed in at 9, her hair tousled, a faint scent of wine on her breath. "Hey," Jake said, voice steady despite the chaos inside. She tossed her bag on the counter. "Hey, long day." He stepped closer. "Who's Emily?" The air stilled. Kate's bag slipped an inch in her grip. "What?" she said, eyes narrowing. "I saw you," he pressed. "Yesterday at the cafe. Holding hands. Laughing. Who is she?" For a beat, silence swallowed the room. Then Kate sighed, sitting at the table. "Okay, Emily's someone I've been seeing. I like women, Jake. I've been figuring it out. I didn't want you to know like this." He stared, disbelief crashing into anger. "You're cheating," he said flat and hard. She shook her head. "It's not that simple. I still love you. I need more. Maybe an open marriage." The words landed like a punch. "More," he snapped. "You've been lying for months, sneaking around, and you think I'll share you?" She leaned forward, defiant. "It's not cheating if it's who I am. I'm happier with women. Emily gets me. Can't we work this out?" Jake stood, chair scraping the floor. "You don't get to rewrite our life. This is betrayal, Kate. End of story." He grabbed his keys and walked out, the rain cold against his face. Outside, Olivia and Hannah's laughter drifted from upstairs, oblivious to the fracture below. Jake drove aimlessly, the city lights blurring through the wet windshield. Kate's confession spun in his head, happier with women. It wasn't just Emily. It was a truth she'd hidden while he'd built their world. Divorce loomed, but something else simmered too, a need to make her feel this hurt. Not with shouting or fists. Jake was smarter than that. As the Willamette River gleamed under the streetlights, a plan flickered to life, sharp and deliberate. Jake Reed woke to the muted light of a Portland morning, the rain a steady whisper against his truck's windshield. He'd slept in the cab, too raw to face the house after Kate's confession. "I'm happier with women." The words clawed at him, but anger was a forge now, shaping something cold and precise. Divorce was coming, no question, but walking away wasn't enough. Kate and Emily thought they could rewrite his life without a scratch. They'd underestimated him, and that was their first mistake. He drove to his tech firm in Beaverton, a sleek building humming with innovation. As logistics manager, Jake knew every gear in the machine: inventory, security, schedules. He'd use it. Kate's affair with Emily wasn't just a betrayal. It was leverage. At his desk, he called HR. "Any recent application for the ops role?" he asked, voice calm. "Yeah," came the reply. "Emily Jennings applied last week. Solid portfolio." Jake's lips twitched. "Hire her. Start Monday." The HR rep hesitated. "You sure?" "She's positive," he cut in. Step 1 set. Over the weekend, he played the part, civil with Kate, a mask of indifference. She tiptoed around him, offering weak smiles, while Olivia and Hannah sensed the chill but stayed quiet. Friday, his birthday, rolled in, and Kate promised dinner, a tradition. Instead, she left at 5, mumbling about a last-minute meeting. Jake didn't bite. The girls gave him cards and hugs before heading to a sleepover. Alone, he tracked her phone, still linked via Find My. She was at Emily's apartment in the Pearl District. He sipped a beer, the rain tapping the windows, and waited. She stumbled in at 11, lipstick faint, eyes glassy. "Happy birthday," she slurred, pecking his cheek. "Thanks," he said, ice in his tone. She didn't notice. Monday, Emily started. Jake watched from his office as she strode in, blonde, poised, chatting up the team. He'd prepped the trap. Late Tuesday, he slipped a box of faulty noise-canceling headphones, $150 from his own pocket, into her car trunk during a break. He logged his system glitch for the parking lot cameras the night before, routine enough to dodge questions. Wednesday, he struck. "Emily, what's this?" he asked, casual, as she popped her trunk post shift. Her face drained. I don't know. That's not mine. He frowned, playing it perfectly. We'll check footage. A pause. Oh, cameras were down. This looks bad. She stammered, pleading. Jake called security, feigning shock. No charges, too flimsy, but the whispers spread. Emily Jennings, the new hire, caught lifting gear. Her rep cratered. She quit by noon. That night, Kate called, voice shaking. You framed her, didn't you? Jake stayed cool. No idea what you mean. Maybe Emily's not as clean as you think. She hung up furious. Victory tasted sharp, but the real blow landed Thursday. A co-worker, Sam, knocked on his door. Hey boss, heads up. Emily's not the only one. Saw Kate with some chick named Lisa at Voodoo Donut last month. Flirty vibes. Jake's jaw tightened. Lisa. He dug into Kate's email. Buried in spam. A thread with L. Miss your laugh. Saturday. Kate's reply. Can't wait. Two lovers. Kate wasn't just cheating. She was juggling. He met his lawyer Friday, a no-nonsense guy named Paul. Filing for divorce. Jake said. No alimony. She pulls 6 figures. Proof's here. He slid over texts, photos, Emily's resignation memo. Paul nodded. Solid. Custody, 50-50, Jake said. But Lisa's my ace. Kate doesn't know I know. He'd unravel her world slowly, legally, and with a smile. As he left, the rain streaked Portland's skyline. Emily was down. Kate was next. Jake Reed leaned against the counter of Stumptown Coffee. The Portland drizzle, a soft murmur outside. It was late March 2025, a week after Emily's fall, and the divorce papers were filed. Kate's double life, Emily and now Lisa, gnawed at him, but he'd scored a hit. Emily's career was toast, and Kate's calls had turned frantic. He needed a breather, something to ground him. That's when Ellie caught his eye, a 35-year-old barista with auburn curls and a quick smile, pouring his drip coffee. You look like you're carrying the world, she said, sliding the cup over. Just half of it, he quipped. She grinned. Well, this one's on me. Their chats became a lifeline. Small stuff at first, like Portland's endless rain, then deeper. Her 5-year-old son, Tyler, her ex who'd bolted his daughters. Ellie was steady, her laugh a bomb against Kate's chaos. One afternoon, over a refill, he spilled it. My wife's cheating. With women. More than one. Ellie's hazel eyes widened, then softened. That's a gut punch. You're worth more than that. Her words stuck. Worth more. Maybe he was. At home, the fallout was brutal. Olivia and Hannah turned on him. Fed Kate's version. He was the villain, too stubborn to understand her. You're ruining everything, Dad. Olivia shouted, slamming her door. Hannah's silence cut deeper, her glare icy. Jake tried explaining, she's lying to you, but Kate's spin held firm. He moved to a cramped apartment near Lake Oswego, leaving voicemails they ignored. I'm not the bad guy, girls. I love you. Nothing. The distance ached, but he wouldn't beg. Then the tide shifted. Kate's sister, Mia, called, a rare voice from her camp. Jake, she's full of it. She's been with Emily and this Lisa for months. Saw them at a club. All cozy. She's telling the girls you flipped out over nothing. It's crap. Jake gripped the phone. Why now? Mia sighed. They deserve the truth. Kate's gloating, and I'm done watching. He exhaled. Tell them. Please. Mia did. Hours later, his phone buzzed. Olivia. Dad. We're coming over. They arrived at dusk. Eyes red. Hannah hugged him, sobbing. Mom liet. Mia showed us pics. 2 women, like we're invisible. Olivia nodded, voice shaky. We're sorry. We didn't see it. He held them tight, relief flooding. We're good now. Ellie became his anchor. One Sunday, she brought Tyler to Laurelhurst Park, wild blonde hair, endless chatter. Jake tossed a frisbee with him, grinning as Tyler hooped. You're a natural, Ellie said, sitting close. Practice, he replied, warmth spreading. Their first date followed, burgers at a dive bar, Tyler scribbling on napkins. She leaned in later, outside her place. I like you, Jake. No games. He squeezed her hand. Same here. The girls met her soon after, charmed by Tyler's giggles. She's cool, Dad, Hannah said. Olivia smirked. Don't screw it up. Kate fought back, calling daily. You destroyed Emily. You're a bastard, she yelled once. Jake stayed calm. You destroyed us. Enjoy, Lisa. She kept at it, desperate. He ignored her, focusing on Ellie and the girls. Then Mia dropped another bomb. Kate's losing it. Emily's gone. Lisa's fading. She's alone. Jake nodded, filing it away. The divorce loomed, and he had proof. Texts, pics, Mia's word. Kate thought she'd won the girls. She'd lost them. Ellie's laugh, Olivia's trust, Hannah's grin. It was enough. But he wasn't done. Kate's reckoning was coming, and he'd play it to the end. Jake Reed stood in the Portland courthouse, the April 2025 sky peeking through the windows with a rare hint of sun. The divorce hearing was here, and he was armed. Texts, photos, Mia's testimony, a stack of proof that Kate's web of lies couldn't dodge. Emily was out of the picture, Lisa a fading echo, and Kate sat across the room, hair pulled tight, eyes darting. She'd hired a slick lawyer who spun tales of emotional strain and unfair targeting, but Jake's attorney, Paul, was a bulldog. Her infidelity's airtight, Paul said, sliding evidence to the judge. No alimony, she earns plenty. 50-50 custody. The judge, a gray-haired man with a no-nonsense stare, nodded. Ms. Reed, your actions show intent. No support. House stays for the kid till they're 18, then split. Kate's face crumpled, but Jake felt only a quiet release. It was done. Outside, she cornered him, rain misting her coat. You're a monster, tearing me apart like this. He met her glare. You tore us first. Deal with it. She stormed off, heels clicking on wet pavement. Olivia and Hannah waited in his truck, waving. You did it, Dad, Olivia said, hugging him. Hannah grinned. Mom's pissed, but she earned it. They'd chosen him. Weekends at his Lake Oswego apartment, school nights with Kate. A fair split, a bond reborn. He drove them home, the city's cherry blossoms a soft blur against the drizzle. Ellie was his rock through it all. One evening, she invited him to her cozy place near Mount Tabor. Tyler bounded over, thrusting a toy plane at Jake. Fly it, Jake, he chirped. Over tacos and cheap beer, Ellie smiled. Free man now. How's it feel? He laughed. Like I've got air again. She kissed him, soft and sure. Good. Tyler's crazy about you. Me too. He pulled her close, warmth spreading. I'm all in, Ellie. Olivia and Hannah adored her. Tyler's antics sealed the deal. She's a keeper, Olivia said one night. Hannah nodded. Better than Mom's mess. Kate's world cracked wider. Mia spilled the truth at a family barbecue. Kate's boasts about living free with Emily and Lisa turned friends cold. Lisa ghosted, Emily's career stalled, and whispers followed Kate like shadows. She called Jake once, voice small. I messed up, okay? I'm sorry. He paused, then said, yeah, you did. Take care, Kate. He hung up, done. Word came later. She'd started dating some quiet guy, keeping low. Jake didn't care. She paid a price. No cushy lies, no easy outs. A month later, he took Ellie, Tyler, Olivia, and Hannah to Cannon Beach. The sun broke through, gilding the waves. Tyler chased seagulls, shrieking, while the girls built a sand fort. Ellie sat beside him, hand in his. You're good at this, family, she said. He smiled, took the hard road to learn. That night, at his place, he pulled out a ring, simple, silver real. Ellie, marry me? Her eyes welled up. Yes, Jake. Tyler cheered, clueless but hyped, as Olivia and Hannah piled on, laughing. About time, Dad. Hannah teased. Kate rebuilt, sort of new guy, new quiet. Jake moved forward, not back. His revenge, Emily's tumble, Kate's exposure, was subtle, legal, final. Standing on his balcony, Portland's lights flickering below, he felt it. Peace. Olivia and Hannah thrived. Tyler called him J-Man, and Ellie was his future. Justice wasn't loud. It was this, a life reclaimed, a family remade.